Welcome back to Facing Dementia, where we explore awareness, empowerment, healing, and the possibilities that happen through conversations that invite us to see health and life through a different lens. I'm Dr. Michelle Greenwell, Complementary and Integrative Health. And today's conversation is one that I think you're going to really resonate with, as many of us will do this, and we really want to shine a light on it. What happens when you've done all the research on the illness that you have been diagnosed with or are facing? And when you've read all the books, you've changed your diet, you've learned the science, you studied the statistics, you made the lifestyle adjustments, and yet you still find yourself living in that shadow of fear. Fear that maybe you missed something, fear that you haven't done enough, fear that something may happen anyway. And at some point, there needs to be a turning point, a moment that determines, well, it becomes exhaustion. And then there's this determination that something needs to be different. And that's where research can become very overwhelming and where your willpower will run dry. And that leads us to the deeper question that emerges: what if the next step isn't more information, but trust? Today, we're going to explore that powerful turning point with my dear guest, Laurin Wittig. Welcome back, Laurin.
Always happy to be here. Love talking to you. Always.
Laurin is an intuitive transformation mentor, award-winning author, founder of Heartlight Wellness and the Heartlight Women's Circles, and host of the Curious Wise Practical Spirituality in Action podcast. With a background in epidemiology, Laurin beautifully bridges science and intuition, practical knowledge, and spiritual wisdom. And her personal journey navigating concerns around dementia risk has invited her into a profound self-discovery, not only about health, but around what it truly means to live fully in the present. Laurin, as we get started today, and our listeners probably know, I'm going to say, what's in your teacup? What did you bring today?
I have Tulsi. It's a blend of 2 holy basils and another holy basil. So I don't know. But it's one of my comfort teas, and I just, not that I'm feeling anxiety or anything today. I just wanted something comfortable. So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm
Mm-hmm.
drinking, and it's supposed to be stress relieving and energizing, which I can always use.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's holy basil is full of so many wonderful opportunities. I'll say it that way when you're
Mhm.
looking at the spiritual essence of it and how it lifts us up and really moves us forward in a beautiful way. Yeah, perfect. For those people that might be listening for the first time, you're just tuning in, then we always have a cup of tea. We talk about it, and then I share a little bit about the spiritual essence of the herbs rather than their medicinal qualities. So while you're listening, you're going to have the opportunity for a healing session. So take the moment to make your own cup of tea, have some water. You can infuse it with the energy that we're creating today. So we have holy basil as one option. And then I'm going to add Nature's Diamonds. And this is a tea I made with my daughter for my birthday. So my 60th birthday, which is a diamond birthday. So I thought, how beautiful is that? And what I put into it was lots and lots of berries. But the affirmation is what I want to bring forward at the moment. With every sip, I absorb the radiant vitality of nature's diamonds. So if you think about what you've seen outside, what you notice when it rains and the water is sparkling, when the sun hits the water, what are some of the diamonds that you see that you can be absorbing that radiant vitality from? This, I thought, was the perfect tea for this conversation because at its heart, we're discussing about reconnecting with nature, and not just the nature around us, but our own nature, the wisdom of our rhythms, our cycles, restoration, how we trust. And this blend brings us ingredients that reflect exactly what we need for this turning point. So I'm going to bring forward moringa. And I didn't know anything about moringa until I went to put this blend together. And moringa is a nourishment embodied. Spiritually, it reminds us that strength is cultivated from within. It offers resilience, restoration, and grounded vitality. Moringa asks, Are you truly nourished or simply surviving? And this is a really good question to ask. Sometimes I think we all think we've eaten too much, and sometimes we haven't eaten enough.
Mhm.
Sometimes we don't have the nourishment we need. The next is lime, and lime brings brightness, clarity, purification, and emotional renewal. It cuts through heaviness and helps shift stagnant emotional energy. Spiritually, lime encourages release. So to us, it's whispering, let go of what no longer serves you. I
Mhm.
had someone that I was chatting with yesterday, and she was saying how she had gotten rid of all of her favorite books, things that, usually we hold on to that last moment. And she said she felt so much lighter
Mhm.
having known she gifted her favorite things to other people. And it's a different way of looking at things, but also, how are things serving us? And the last is currents. Currents carry sweetness, restoration, abundance, and remembrance. They invite us to savor life, to reconnect with joy, to remember that vitality includes delight. And together, this tea becomes an invitation. So we put there's more ingredients than that, but when we bring them together and we highlight them, then we can bring in the ability to nourish, to release, to receive, to take a breath. And as you hold your cup, noticing the warmth, noticing the aroma, and then asking yourself, what am I ready to stop carrying? And with that, let's begin. So, Laurin, thank you for coming. I should turn my cup around because this is my 60th mug.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Cheers. Thank you for being
Cheers.
here. Mm. All right. We're both hugging the mug too.
Yeah.
All right. So as we're thinking about what would we want to stop carrying, can you imagine how much lighter the load could be? So Laurin, you shared something incredibly honest with me, that you had reached the place where you felt tired of the worrying, tired of trying to prevent something that may or may not happen, tired of researching, tired of fear being the invisible companion that was floating around in the background. And instead, you were arriving at a place of trust, trusting what you've learned, trusting your body, trusting your intuition. I know that's such a big one.
Mhm.
Trusting your inner wisdom. And that feels like this is a profound turning point for people choosing, this would sound weird, choosing illness or choosing living. And do you want to share a little bit about what all that has meant for you?
Well, it's been a while since we had that conversation. So it's interesting looking back now because I was carrying a lot of anxiety around with me and a lot of stress. And those are two things that are not good for your brain. And so I was really getting tired of that. And I had taken 3 weeks in Hawaii in February, and I think I talked to you shortly after that. And that rest from constantly being worried about, thinking about what should I be doing? Am I doing enough for my brain? Is this inevitable? Is it, blah, 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 voice in my head. And that piece was something I really wanted to bring back with me. And when you come back to this is my office and this is where I spend a lot of my time. And so a lot of my worry happens in this place where I did a lot of my research as I was learning about the dementia and specifically the Alzheimer's gene. Because for those who maybe are coming in late to this series, I carry one copy of the Alzheimer's gene. And um, so I realized as I got back, I got stressed again. I was carrying the anxiety. I needed to add this? My doctor wanted me to add that. I felt like I wasn't doing enough again. And I have, as you know, Michelle, I have made massive changes in my life in the last year and a half, and all for the good. I mean, really, it has been all for the good. And so I realized that I was really tired of carrying that. And I was tired of searching, searching, searching. Is there anything else I should do? Am I doing enough? And just not living in the moment, living in the future, I would call it. And I couldn't carry it anymore. I just couldn't carry it anymore. Now, I apparently did because I've been sick quite a bit this spring. And I know as a healer that a lot of times when we're trapping things that are not in our highest good in our body reacts to that. And so I was sick 3 times in about 4 months. So, um, but the idea of letting it go, I had to really get to a place where I could admit to myself that I didn't need to do any more research, that I didn't need more information coming at me, in part because it was repetitive now.
Mhm.
And in part because I was overwhelmed. I think the last time we talked, it was about being overwhelmed. And I felt like I couldn't process anything else because my head was too full of what was already there. And so at some point, and I couldn't tell you exactly which point because I think it was a combination of, events, but eventually I came to the realization that what I want to do is I want to grow older, healthy, and happy. That's my goal, healthy and happy, as long as I can manage it. And if I do that, even if I get dementia, if I'm healthy and happy, winning, you know? And if I don't get dementia, then what the hell have I been doing wasting my time on all this stuff? So it's a combination of things. I never get to those decisions fast. I have to kind of mull them over, work through it, meditate on it, maybe talk to some friends about it, as I did with you. But eventually I got to the place where it was like, you know what? If I'm not having fun, what's the point? If I'm not
Mhm.
happy, if I'm not, and then, you can't be 100% of the time, but if I'm not primarily in my happy place, doing something fun, being creative, enjoying time with friends, all of those things that are actually really good for your brain, but that I really have really improved my quality of life if I don't let that anxiety take over. And I chose to let go of it. Um, and I do have my aunt. I talk about my aunt Alice a lot because she's the one out of 5 siblings that does not have dementia. And I went down to visit her in April or May, I guess. And she always says to me when I see her, she says, Laurin, you can't do anything about what's going to happen in the future other than what you're already doing. You just try to live a good life. And then your husband will take good care of you if you need it. The other thing she said to me is, you're much more like your grandmother than you are your mother. And your grandmother was sweet, your mother was a pain in the ass. You know? And so you're much more likely, if this were to happen, to be in that gentler kind of energy of it. And I really took that in because I was thinking, yeah, that is true. I am much more like my grandmother than my mother. Thank goodness. But also, if I can be happy and healthy, I mean, that's why am I stressing over all this stuff, which is ruining my happy, healthy here now? You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's been, it's not a one and done. I still have those moments, but I have really been aware of noticing those moments of anxiety or fear, or I really should do this. I have the bad case of the shoulds and the oughts. I should
Hmm.
ought to do this. I should do this. But when I noticed that tape going in my head, what I've started doing is going, okay, what could I do right now that would be pleasurable or fun or just help me move my body to move that energy around? And I do it. I'm trusting that intuition that I can redirect this. And here are 3 different ways I could do it, depending on the time of day and how freaking hot it is outside in Virginia in June. Um, and I've been doing that very successfully to the point where I notice it almost immediately, and I do a turn. I turn my attention somewhere else. And each time I do that, the voice gets a little quieter. So that's my
Wow.
practice now.
Wow. Isn't that it? I don't even know how to respond to this exactly because I was thinking about those people who end up with a diagnosis where then their life just becomes doctor appointment, test, results, test, doctor. and they're here. We're in a rural area, so it means lots of big drives,
Yeah.
expense, etc. And that becomes the life. And what you have is there's nothing there yet that you have to do something like that.
Hmm.
So you have this opportunity to really change that that moment.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted to shine a light a little bit on that because some people are going to end up in that hamster wheel of appointments,
Hmm.
and that becomes similar to what you've experienced with diving into all the research and trying to keep up with it. And how beautiful to be able to say, I'm just going to step off this hamster wheel and let the hamster wheel go.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not to say that I'm not taking my supplements and, might being mindful of what I eat and trying to make sure I move every day and, all those health things, all those lifestyle things.
Hmm.
But I am not, I'm not interested in doing any more research. I'm not interested in dragging myself through all of that anymore, in large part because I feel like I've kind of got what I've needed
Yeah.
and I have the support that I needed. And, so there's all of that. Um, yes, so yeah, no, I totally lost my track of my conversation there.
That's okay. That's okay. I was just thinking about coming back to that living in the moment
Oh yeah.
piece and that joy that we all forget as we, because yes, we are still going to try to eat right. We are still going to try to get the best rest, all of us.
Hmm.
And particularly as we're getting older, that becomes more so. You want to do a better job than, before when you didn't
Yeah.
have so many
You
aches
get
and
away with it in
complaints.
your 30s. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. But then you have realizing I'm already doing those things, so why not?
And we had talked about the joy calendar, I think last
Yes.
time, and I have gone deep into that. But when I get to those points where it's like, God, I don't feel like doing anything, I remind myself, I really enjoy that thing. Whether it's walking my dog or pickleball on a hot day or, or just sitting quietly and crocheting. There's all kinds of different things that I have added in as a regular piece of my days. And it's just, yeah, it's again, I'm losing the trail of the conversation. I am sorry.
It's okay. And I'm glad you brought up the joy calendar again because I didn't actually make one, but my husband and I really talked about how friends' birthdays come and go because you have the calendar for all the family
Hmm.
things you need to remember, but we actually don't have a calendar for all our friends. And so paying attention to some of their highlights and adding that in. And I also have started to, people ask me about, you're so busy with the tea company and that must be hard to do all the packaging. And it's like, as soon as I open up all of those herbs to mix the next blend and I smell it and I see it and the colors, it's like you. I still have to do the work, but the joy is, and then I just sit with it now. And then I kind of putz around, which is rather than get in there and get it done, I actually go and make the cup of tea. And then I sit with the herbs a little bit and it takes me a little longer, but the whole piece is when I finish, I have packaging that I look at that's filled with joy too.
Yeah.
And so I've
And that
changed what I'm
energy
doing.
that you're
Mm-hmm.
sharing with people as you do that, going from
Mm-hmm.
maybe a suppressed, don't have much time, whatever, to I'm just going to enjoy this entire experience.
Mm-hmm.
That makes a huge difference. And I have seen that just in my travels through, other groups of people. The happier I am, the more joy I bring to the rest of the group. And I have
Mm-hmm.
seen it again and again and again, partly because I'm a wise ass sometimes and I can make people laugh. But I do try to remember that the better I take care of my mental health and my energetic health, the more I bring to the world without
Mm-hmm.
without really trying. I just am minding my own business, and that helps, when I run into other
Mhm,
people. I still have a few people I work with as a healer, and that it makes a huge difference in my interactions
mhm,
with them. So
mhm.
that joy calendar has really become a tool for me. I have a different color for joyful things and things I absolutely have to do, you know?
Mhm.
And so as long as I have a couple of purple blocks on my calendar, because I have it all on my computer, then I know I'm going to have a good day, you know? So,
Mhm. Mhm.
and the more purple on my calendar, the better. So I don't put things like spend an hour crocheting or, rub the dog's belly for an hour while I'm watching TV or that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But even those little things of um, I'm being very careful not to time constraint myself. So even before I sat down here to talk to you, I had about an hour and I knew the dog needed to walk and I needed to put on a decent shirt and, get my equipment set up. And I just kind of went, okay, I'm going to take 15 minutes for the dog walk. And I told her that. I talk to my dog all the time. So we're just going to take a short walk, but I promise we'll take a long one later. And we got that done very efficiently. And then everything just, I wasn't stressed about it. It's like I got plenty of time. And if I don't, Michelle will understand if I need another 5 minutes, you know? And
Yeah.
so I just have really taken that piece of stress out. And a lot of it is because I'm looking at what's going to be joyful when I do it, not what's the time constraint of that, you know?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
that's another way of flipping my way of thinking about things
Mhm.
that has really taken a big hold on me in the last month or two.
Mhm. And I was thinking about when I look at my work calendar, I actually look for the spaces now.
Hmm.
So instead of looking at, okay, here's all my appointments, which I do, what have I got? But I usually try to um, work into the week, work ahead, and then backtrack so that I get all the things prepared that need to happen
Um,
so that I can move gently into each activity through the week.
hmm.
But what I've started to do is, yes, I have, the paperwork done for this and the script done for that, and I've sent out the Zoom link. But then I go, what are the spaces in there? And then how do I want to fill the spaces? And I hadn't realized till just now I've done that, because before it would have been, got to get the list done. And then now that I got the list done, I feel pretty good because I did most of the stuff on the list.
Hmm.
But now I have the list there, but then I have this space, this joy space. And what did I fill it with?
Hmm.
And I find myself being more, instead of, I didn't get everything done on my list, which usually, because the list is always really long.
Yeah.
Instead, I'm like, I'm so pleased that I had accomplished this piece, or that I was able to put my hand in there or spend more time thinking about. And that's shifted what's happening in the stress world around the activities I need to do.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love seeing blank spaces on my calendar. It's like, ooh, what do I get to do with that space?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So we have then this idea of trust, and then we've got the fear factor. So trust and fear. So now that you've moved out of the fear space, moved over to the trust space, how does it feel trusting your body?
It feels really good because it is the normal way that I would move through the world. I mean, I have enough, awareness of what's going on in my body. In fact, doctors usually say, you're very different from most of my patients. You know? Um, but I have that feeling of energetically, and I also know how to connect with really the voice of my body when I remember to do it.
Mhm.
But it's so and I was thinking about why I trust my intuition so much. And I really, this is going to sound funny. I traced it back to Nancy Drew. You remember the mysteries?
Yes.
Because when I was a kid, I was in a stressful family. We moved a lot, not for any good reasons. You never knew when the bomb was going to go off between my parents, this kind of stuff. And I didn't have names for what I was feeling. But when you read fiction, particularly, you get the emotional life as well as the what's happening part of it, and it's
Mhm.
usually named. Now I'd have to go back and see how well Nancy Drew does that, but this was my where my brain went. So, but seeing the description of the physical things that are going on when you're, say, sad, and what it looks like to somebody else, and then having it named as, Nancy was so sad that she had missed the clue, or whatever it was. I think it began to build a vocabulary for me that helped me understand what was going on inside. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that came later, a good bit later, because it was high school really, was I had a class where we had to keep a journal. And it was an acting class. And we were supposed to be like observing our environments, and then, how did that make us feel? And that's where I really started to put that into action. And I realized that I often didn't know what I was feeling till I got it out of my body onto a piece of paper where I could read it and see it. And then I could name it, because I've read it in Nancy Drew or whatever the bazillions of books I had read since then. I had read it. I understood that this description here is what I just wrote there, and therefore it must be anxiety, or it must be fear, or whatever. Um, and then another clue for me that has really strengthened my trust in my intuition is that when I am agreeing to something that doesn't feel right to me, doesn't at a soul level really, I get very teary. And I often go, why am I so teary? And then I have to look back at what was just happening and go, okay, I'm really not all right with that. I was trying to go along to get along, be the nice person. And I've learned to really, I don't do that very much anymore because I'm really, um, uh, I think I'm living more authentically than I ever have. And
Mm-hmm.
so I don't get myself in those places of, sure, I'll do that when it's the last thing in the world I want to do, but I'm being nice, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so I have had these opportunities to begin to trust my intuition or my inner knowing of myself, um, and to be able to label them. And I don't know that I ever taught my kids to do that, but I should have. But being able to name it often gives you a way to give it a perspective on it. Oh, I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? You
Mm-hmm.
know, as opposed to my gut is so hard in knots, I just can't even breathe.
Mm-hmm.
Do anything with that. Consciously, I can't decide to do something about that other than, or maybe if take a pill or something, it'll be fine. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but because I can name what I'm feeling, then I can do something about it. I can make a choice about how do I want to deal with this? Do I need to say no? Do I need to go, well, I can't do that, but I could do this for you? There's just options that come up that if I'm not aware of what it is I'm feeling, I can't make any choices about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that long term, I was 66 years old. I was reading Nancy Drew when I was like 9, you know? But that long opportunity to really learn that my intuition was right, or that I was externally not in alignment with whatever was going on inside, has really helped me to understand what those feelings are and how I can bring them forth. And I still resort now and then to journaling when I'm really in a hard place. I would just get pen and paper out, or typewriter. I'm not typewriter. We don't have those anymore. Computer. Showing my age. Computer, and just let it flow out of me. And often I don't even bother to read it again once it's out of me. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's where I get a deep, deep trust of my intuition, and where I recognize it because it's
Mm-hmm.
telling me about what's going on within me. Um, and I get knowings, deep knowings all the time for myself and for other people when I'm working with them. So
Mm-hmm.
I have had too many experiences of that and then have it validated almost immediately, to not trust it.
Mm-hmm. That's just so interesting because I know when you and I talked about this episode and the conversation on it, it's like leaving the research, um, starting to listen to that intuition, the end of willpower. And it's like, it's none of that. It's about the depth of living. It's about the multidimensional opportunities. And that intuition allows you to dive into just such a beautiful pool of experience.
Hmm.
And before we were reading about it as kids, to find it and understand it and live it in our imagination, but then to be able to bring that to reality
Yeah.
and be able to live that way. It's so freeing and definitely light.
Yeah. And I would say even more than freeing, it's empowering.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a victim of whatever might happen to me in the future. I'm empowered in this moment to choose how I want to react to that, or
Mm-hmm.
how I want to not react to that is really where I am now. You know? So
Yeah.
yeah, so it's very empowering. It is very freeing. And it's something that we are not taught as children in our generation, my generation anyway. Um, but I do think it's one of the real big values of reading fiction.
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
because you get that both the visual and the emotional part of it usually.
Mm-hmm. As you were describing Nancy Drew, and I was like instantly, read all of those.
Uh-huh.
But also, I was thinking when I was a little bit younger, it was Laura Ingalls Wilder,
Oh yeah. Yep. Yep.
and that was the same. That same kind of ideas came out of
Hmm.
that. But then I moved into the Lucy Maud Montgomery and um, what we have of Anne of Green Gables and
Charlotte's Web.
friendships, Charlotte's Web. Yeah, yeah, so interesting. And
Hmm.
yeah, we lived in that fantasy world, but we never think about bringing the fantasy world to us in
Yeah.
our living space.
Yeah. There's actually been research, I haven't seen it recently, but there's research about how reading fiction makes people more empathetic and
Hmm.
compassionate. So
And I
reading
think you really
fiction.
hit the nose on the head about not being able to name emotions or not being able to understand situations and
Mhm.
reactions to situations, but to be able to experience them through the imagination and then have them in the background because our brain and body don't know whether it was real or not real.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
just knowledge, and to be able to bring that forward and have that experience ready, even if you didn't have it as a real experience, but you
Hmm.
definitely had it through your imagination.
Yep. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Wow. Okay. So, as we're thinking about that, that really flips around some of the conversation. So, when people do that deep dive into research, it's looking at statistics. It's looking at a population responses, certain protocols set up, but each of us is so individual. And so that ability to live in the present moment and to bring in the joy and the multidimensional way of living completely changes what happens with an illness or what happens with how you move forward, I
Mm.
guess. Healthy and joyful, as you said.
Yeah.
But it also takes away that need to have the willpower. And I just wanted to bring willpower forward again because so many people will, I'll eat better. I'm going to be in bed by 10 o'clock. I'm going to, and you have rules that you give yourself.
Mhm.
And it works for like the first week or two
Yeah.
when you have, normal things happening for you. But then life gets there. And all of a sudden, 11 o'clock at night was a little bit later.
Mm.
And you didn't sleep in, but you could have slept in. And, so rather than that willpower of trying to put the rules in place that you're going to be well because of the rules, being able to let all of that go and then go to that place of joy because tonight I'm staying up late and I'm going to enjoy the bonfire.
Hmm.
And I'm going to sleep in the morning or I'm going to take a nap tomorrow. And
Hmm.
and that's okay.
Yep.
Just really making those choices. So um, I wanted to bring that forward because willpower, so many people then berate themselves for not being able to hold on to it, right? It's not
I don't have
designed.
a strong willpower, I'm afraid.
None of us do. None of us do. But we're always looking for the joy, right? And willpower
Hmm.
is when you've put the rules in place, they're not always there with joy. And
Hmm.
so you're searching for the joy. That's where you really want to go.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And
and
even with sleep, I want to wake up happy in the morning, and I can get really grumpy if I don't get a good night's sleep. So, I mean, even in those ways, I'm more motivated to, go to bed a little earlier. I allow myself to read until 10 o'clock, and then, and then it's lights out, and I'll sleep in the morning if I need to, and kind of
Hmm.
thing.
Hmm.
And I am a much happier person for having good night's sleep pretty regularly. So it's not just the big things, but little things too can be. Is it going to bring you joy to have the coffee pot already clean in the morning when you get up?
Yeah. Yeah. It's on a
So,
timer. It's ready to go. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm doing a lot of those little things now too. It's like literally, I come out when have remembered to clean we have a French press, and so it's always got to be cleaned out. And when I've remembered to clean it out and get it all set up for the next morning, and I come out and it's all there, I go, "Oh, I already did that. That's awesome." You know?
Yep.
And it gets my day off to such a lovely place because I'm kind of laughing at myself for being so happy over the coffee pot being clean. It takes like 4 minutes to fix it. It's like so.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's little things like that too. I have decided that I'm going to try to do one granny square a day with my crocheting, which takes me about 20 minutes or so. And it's like, oh, I've got a few minutes. I could do my granny square. And it's such a meditative kind of thing to crochet that it's like a lovely little, what do I want to call it? Like a place in the middle of the desert.
Hmm.
Yeah, just
The
in the
Oasis.
oasis. Thank you.
Yep.
An oasis in the middle of a day that might otherwise be a little more busy than I want to be. But
Hmm.
it's like I can take 20 minutes and listen to some music and crochet for 20 minutes, and it's like little things, but they make me so happy. You
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
So yeah, so even those little things I'm looking at as, does this make me happy? And if so, I'm much more motivated to do something about it. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it's been really, really hot here, and I was hoping to play pickleball yesterday because we had a drop in the temperature. It was still like kissing 90, but that was a big drop from where we've been. And there's a group that I play with, and we usually meet about 3:30 in the afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And so I'm on the app saying, "Hey, anybody else want to play at 3:30?" And I got two other people, but you got to have four total to play. And I was so disappointed. I had to go for a walk with my dog, you know. Okay, so I'm going to get outside in this heat, which I'd rather have fun at pickleball than watch my dog hunt moles. Um, but it's just those little things that I look forward to now that I never did before.
Hmm.
I was never I need to go do something outdoors in the summertime person ever. But if it's fun, I don't care. I'll get sweaty. You know? So
Yep.
all these little things are adding up and supporting the bigger things. Um, and there's still some things that I keep coming back to. I should do this or that. Like my doctor wants me to learn another language. I kind of speak French, but another language or pick up an instrument. I used to play the flute. I don't have any interest in that anymore. And there's something about that is not aligning with me right now.
Hmm.
Like I could see how both would be kind of fun to do or interesting to do, but and I finally realized I was thinking about that this morning is why am I, not jumping on one of these? And I had reasons for both why I might not be interested in doing them, but it came down to I've been told I should choose one of these. So it was not a choose something you want to do, it was a choose one of these two things.
Hmm.
And neither one of them is lighting me up.
Yeah.
So I'm waiting. Even though I know that both of those are good for your brain and all that stuff, it's like the right thing has not come along yet. And I'll know when it does, if it does. And if not, then
Hmm.
I'm not gonna worry about it, you know?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, all kinds of fun little ways to get your joy into your day. And
Hmm.
it lifts everything
Hmm.
else up, even those little things.
Hmm. And in this next part, I wanted to bring in the bioenergetic wellness formula, which I've talked about before. But what you've just done is kind of flipped it right upside down for me.
I keep doing
So,
that, don't I?
So thanks for that.
Yeah.
Because what I had in my notes and in my thought was this approach using the bioenergetic wellness formula allows us to explore where our stress is stored, systems are overloaded, which energy is depleted. So we're looking for all those things. But the other side of that formula is we have a goal on the other side, and that's that wellness goal. So we're looking at all these things that negate that goal in a way.
Mhm.
And so I just realized as we're talking about the joy calendar and we're talking about how we fill the days and where we put the spaces in, that's what we want to be looking at.
Mhm.
That's the piece.
Yeah.
And when we go back to the research and the medical model, which is, you know, breaking things down to find what is the problem and at that nugget, and we can complement it by not being there, not being inside of the science of that, but
Mhm.
going alongside it to say, in what way can I now live more joyously as a result of that's being taken care of, and I get to be over here.
Mhm.
So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
So if
I have more
what does
wisdom than I
that
knew.
we always have this while we're talking. For those people that might not have heard me talk about the formula before, in my dissertation work, I was trying to find in specialized kinesiology, which is the words that's used around the world. In Canada, we say bioenergetic wellness. But I wanted to, what are the defining pieces that makes this modality so successful? And it is the goal setting and intention. And what we have just talked about is our intention is to live with health, wellness, and joy. So
Mhm.
we've brought all that in place. So that is the goal. And we can have sub goals or we can have variations on those goals daily, which is fine. But then what is our awareness? So usually we're looking at where's the stress in the body,
Mhm.
what do you notice in the joints, etc. And then how does it change? But if we're now looking at where is the joy, where are the spaces in our life, how are we filling the spaces? That's a
Mhm.
different look.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same with when I work with people with doing energy work. I'm looking for where the blocks are and where the traumas are and where the pain is. But how cool would it be to maybe work on that some, but then come back and go, okay, where are the spaces that are holding joy that you could bring out and sort of amplify, you know,
Yeah,
with aware,
yeah,
but just by being aware of them, you know. So I
yeah.
love it. Thank you. I learned something too. Always
And then
good.
you along that is there's you've got the awareness, but then you have an activation. You're going to do something to bring it forward. So as you were describing pickleball and walking with the dog, I was just thinking about Tai Chi because when there's just no interruption of my Tai Chi.
Mhm.
That's what I do on certain days, and that's the way it is. Same as your schedule and what you enjoy doing.
Mhm.
And you can go into Tai Chi with all the aches and complaints, but always I come out. It's like going through the car wash.
Mhm.
You come out the other side and there's the rainbow, and it's like, oh, I feel so much better. My joints
Yep.
are open. But instead of thinking about, we need to look at this, we need to define it, and we need to restore it, we're not thinking about that. We're going to enjoy all of the
Mhm.
movement. And then on the other side, as you walk out the door, and it's like, here I am, shiny and new, and
Mhm.
how lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Um,
I often tell people that the one thing I can guarantee is that you will be more relaxed when you leave me, you know, and that's that's never been the only thing they got, but that's the one thing I can guarantee, you know, because
mhm,
that's what that work does for them. But yeah, it's you. I'm choosing not to look at do I want to be out in the 85-degree humid, weather today, playing with my friends, and then I'm like, yeah, I want to be playing with my friends. I don't care how hot it is. I'll take my water and my electrolytes and I will have a towel to wipe my face with. But we're going to have fun. And it
mhm,
gets me out there every time. If I have to motivate myself to go take a long walk in the heat by myself, probably not going to happen.
mhm,
So,
mhm,
yeah, it's very much that looking for. what is it that brings me joy in this, that makes me
Hmm.
want to do that and
Hmm.
really motivates me to do it, as opposed to I really need some exercise and I committed to pickleball today out in the heat and I really don't want to go. It's
Yeah. Yeah.
very different energy that you're bringing to it. And you can choose that. I mean, I say that like it's easy, but it gets easier with practice where I can
Hmm.
go, "Oh, God, it's going to be so hot today and I don't like heat." But then I go, oh, but I always have fun with that group,
Yeah.
so off I go.
Yeah. Yeah. And then that brings forward, because connection with others is so important for healing.
Hmm.
And so you've already set up the network of people that are going to inspire you into healing.
Hmm.
And that communication is part of the formula as well. So that's just so important. And when I'm not at my Tai Chi class, and I lead it, so I'm instructing, but if I can't be there, then they all know, whoever shows up, it's the job of the group to talk to each other to figure out how to practice together. And I'm always delighted when I hear how it unfolds. And
Hmm.
somebody's always going to try to point at someone else, you be the teacher, because I don't
Hmm.
want to be the teacher.
Hmm.
But it's this collective conversation, but their learning and the healing that comes out of that is so profound. And the choice could easily be the teacher's not showing up, so I'm not going.
Yeah.
And you fill it up with something else. But if you approach it from, it's my responsibility to be there, and let's nurture each other. It's
Hmm.
completely different.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. So I appreciate one more thing you said, which takes us to the end of the formula, which is intuition. And you commented that the more you're doing this and the more you make those kind of decisions intuitively, it just becomes really easy to make those decisions.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to bring that forward, so people are thinking about, oh, I can't do that. This is going to be hard. Those kinds of decisions I have trouble making.
Hmm.
It is a process of
Yeah.
learning, but it's a process of learning that rewards us so incredibly
Hmm.
that we're more apt to stay involved with it
Yeah.
than not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it teaches you to trust yourself.
Hmm.
The more you take the chance on that decision that maybe you're like, I don't know, um, but you feel like you should do it. You're like your gut is saying, yeah, go ahead. Um, then the more you do that, you'll get that feedback, and that will make you trust it more and more and more. And you can do little things again. Just little things. Should I take the dog out now or an hour from now? I'm really feeling like it's like 30 minutes. Okay, I'll do it in 30 minutes. And then
Hmm.
sure enough, you run into your friends out there rocking their dogs, and it's like you see a beautiful hawk, something magical happens when you just kind of pay attention to what your body is saying. Yeah, I'm not ready now, but 30 minutes, It's like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's worth listening to.
Yeah. And it's so true. And then as people think about, well, they don't have intuition, but it's just something you cultivate. I think people don't realize
Hmm.
it's just cultivated. So begin with the small steps and then it grows. And like you said, to be able to bring joy to a room full of people that having come to have a conversation with you was a relaxing experience and
Hmm.
something that rejuvenated them to go back to wherever they're going next,
Hmm.
instead of quick, get that conversation done and then boom, off we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. Hmm.
Well, you and I, it's funny because we tried to record
Okay.
this episode
Twice
several
before.
times.
Yeah.
It was just kept, but we always know the timing is going to be perfect. And I think it's so beautiful. We were going to be able to talk about the topic, but you were in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And now you're on the other side of it and you're seeing the rewards of it and the gold within it. And, and it's just like, it's no effort. It's
Yeah.
just there. That's just
Yeah.
how it is.
And
Yeah.
again, it's not that I don't still get some anxiousness or some fear coming in, creeping in, but I'm noticing it. I'm acknowledging it very quickly now and making a conscious choice of what else could I be doing instead of fretting over that, And then it becomes kind of fun. It's like, ooh, what would I like to do now? You know? So, and sometimes it's just simply, I'd like to empty the dishwasher now, you know?
Yeah.
But it's still, it's like a consciousness of what you're feeling and being able to name it helps, and acknowledging that it's true, that it's real, and that you have the right to choose to stay there if that's what you need to do to process it. But you also have the right and frankly the strength. Everybody's got the strength to go, what else could I be doing instead of ruminating over this thing?
Hmm.
And it's amazing how fast you can start to catch yourself once you start doing that.
Hmm.
And it totally changes your energy.
Hmm. Hmm. So on that wellness journey, as people are listening and you're thinking about the small changes you might want to be making, then just knowing that you don't know where this is going to lead you, and which is what's happened with our conversations. You know,
As
we don't
usual.
know where it's going to go, but each discovery has been so interesting
Mhm.
and has led us to just find more richness. And yeah, okay. Well, now that we've totally shifted that whole piece, the formula is completely transformed, and I've got to think about what that's going to mean moving forward. Um, I wanted to close with a little bit of a meditation. So for everybody listening, it would be very easy to stop listening to the podcast and carry on with your day, and you probably carry on with it the same way. But rather than do that, let's invite you into settling into the ideas, and maybe some pictures will come up of how you want to make those first small changes, or what it would feel like if you made a change.
Mhm.
And once you've made that change, what would it feel like for the people around you and what they bring to the table? So if you have some tea beside you or you've got your water infused, just have a sip and bring that close to you. And just bring those herbs back in. And if you've got both feet on the floor, or you're lucky enough you could lie down, you can hold on to the tea if you wish, continue to smell it, but take a slow breath in and then let it exhale. If you want to leave your eyes open, that's great. If you want to close them, that's fine too. And take another breath in and notice how that breath is actually not just in your lungs, but it's filling up every joint. It's filling up the space around your body. And it's bringing a vibrancy to the space that surrounds you. And as you're breathing in, consider the nourishment that you provide yourself every day in many ways. And as you breathe out, any fear, anxiety, tightness, let it go. Now, nature plays such an important role for us. So let's imagine standing in nature. Got the sunlight filtering through leaves. The fresh air is surrounding you. The earth is steady beneath your feet. You feel the grass. You feel the bumps, the divots, the soil. Maybe you feel the rocks beneath you, but they're soft, they're not hard. You feel that support. You know that you're here. You're not in yesterday, you're not in tomorrow, you're here. And if you ask yourself, what have I already done well? And then if you consider, what can you release? What does your body need from you today? Let your shoulders soften. jaw relax. Let your breath deepen. You do not need to know everything. You do not need to control every possibility. You don't need to carry tomorrow today. In this moment, you are enough. With each breath, you are safe. And in this life, you're invited to live fully. If you take one more breath, exhale that joy, that vibrancy, that wellness. And then as you come back to the present, allow your gaze to raise or your eyes to open. You'll find your water, your tea. And now, with our conversation today, with every sip, you absorb the radiant vitality of nature's diamonds.
Mm. That was lovely.
Just seems to just soften right out, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, I feel very just relaxed and present.
Laurin, thank you for another incredible conversation and realizations. You have me, I'm going to have to go back and really think about what I'm writing and how I'm writing, the way I want to express some of the ideas, moving them out of that fear modality into that trust. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And if today's episode resonated with you, then something that I don't talk about too often, but I should, is you can explore more if you go to my website, greenwellcenter.com. And there you'll have a pop-up window which is going to bring you the top 8 stress releasers. This is a great resource that you can add to your toolbox, similar to how easily we brought in the breath and focusing into nature. And these tools, you can just put them in the toolbox, and when you need a moment to just calm everything back down, they'll be there for you. You can learn a little bit more about bioenergetic wellness while you're going to be building some resiliency, awareness, and vitality. So please enjoy using that and feel free to pass it forward to others that can benefit. And until next time, Laurin, I wish you a wonderful summer full of vibrancy and energy now that those colds are all behind us. So I'll say us, since it was both of us having the challenges. So beautiful. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you as always. It's just such a pleasure to have these conversations with you.
Until next time, everyone, be well and take care.